Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so today we will start new chapter, that is a helical antenna, and I hope the presentation is visible. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let's start. So helical antenna is a very important antenna because most of the antenna that we see in in our day to day life, they are naturally linearly polarized. Okay, you can make it circularly polarized, but you need to have some techniques. But if you consider helical antenna, then helical antenna is naturally circularly polarized because of its structure. So that is why helical antenna is very important concept that you need to study. Okay, so I have added only one book, but you can use antennas by JD Cross. Then one site, that is antennatheory.com, and third is a notebook of Professor Girish Kumar, which I will share with you on Teams. Okay, so that is what you need to refer. Okay, the content we will discuss about helical geometry, then transmission and radiation modes, practical design considerations. Okay, so helical antenna is a traveling wave antenna in the shape of a corkscrew that produces radiation along the axis of the helical antenna. That means it is kind of a spring kind of a structure. You have seen spring, right? So it is a similar to spring kind of a structure, but here it is very different from spring, but structure is like a spring. If the radiation is along the axis of the helix, it is known as the axial mode of helix. Benefits of helical antenna is that it is a wide band. It can be easily constructed. That means you can construct actually helical antenna by your own hand. Then it has real input impedance. That means if you consider impedance of a dipole antenna, we will see in dipole antenna, then it is a complex impedance, right? It means that it has real part also and imaginary part also. But in case of a helical antenna, mostly impedance is real, and the most important thing is circularly polarized. So helical antenna is a naturally circularly polarized antenna, so that you need to keep in mind. This is a helical antenna geometry. I want you to look at this slide for 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then we will discuss about this. Okay, so this image I have taken from the site antennatheory.com. Okay, and let us discuss the structure. This is a ground plane of a helical antenna, and this is the wire, or it is a conductor. It is taking turns like this, and then it forms a spring like structure. Okay, so let us see one by one the parameter or the structure parameter. What is capital D? You need to answer. What is capital D? It is written in the slide itself.
Diameter of axial helix antenna.
Diameter of a turn of helix of the antenna. That is this this diameter we are talking about. That is capital D. What is C? What is C? Hello. You have to answer from the slide itself. What is C?
Circumference of the turns.
Circumference of a turn on helix. How it is associated with capital D? C equal to pi D. Right? S, that is vertical separation between the turns for helical antenna. That means it is spacing between two turns. Right? That is S. Alpha, this is actually alpha. This is actually alpha. Alpha is known as a pitch angle, which controls how far helix antenna geometry grows in Z direction. That means your turn that is starting from here, right, and then it is taking turn. So this angle, that is this angle, like this angle, that is known as a alpha, roughly. Okay. So this angle, that is alpha. Okay. Capital N, there are the total number of turns on antenna or helix. Capital H, that is total height of the helical antenna, this height. And if you consider, then this is a alpha angle. Okay. And total height of helix is equal to H is equal to N into S. That is vertical spacing between the turns multiply by number of turns. Okay. How circumference and alpha, they are associated. Circumference, that is C, is equal to pi d, or you can consider here also like this also, that this is circumference, and from here it is taking some turns. Like, let me explain like this. So you can take the turns like this. So this is your alpha angle. Okay. So circumference, that is C, and S is perpendicular to that because this is the spacing, this is the circumference, right? Then the angle alpha is this. Okay. So alpha is equal to tan inverse S by C, where S is the spacing, C is the circumference of the helix. This relation you need to keep in mind, right? Based on this, question can be asked. So that is why this is an important relationship. There could be, the theory can be asked from this chapter is that draw the geometry of helical antenna and explain parameter associated with its structure. Okay, so this can be asked. So this is a simple helical antenna geometry. Okay, now let us see that what are the practical design consideration that we need to keep in mind. The antenna shown in figure 1, that is this figure, is a left-handed helical antenna because it curls. Because if you curl your finger on your left hand around the helix, your thumb would point up. Similarly, that means if you consider left-handed or right-handed, depending on that, it will provide the circular. It will provide either left-hand side or right-hand side circularly polarized, right? So if you consider, if you take your leg hand in this way, left hand finger, then it is pointing upwards. If you take that is left hand finger, then it will turn other way. So that is how, if it is a left handed, then it is left, it will give you left hand circular polarization. If it is right handed, then it will provide you right hand side polarization. But the radiation should be in this direction. In this direction there would be a radiation. Okay, so that you need to keep in mind. Okay, this is the most important thing that you need to know, that this is a practical design consideration. So if you want to have circular polarization in helical antenna, you should have at least 3 number of turns in a helix. At least 3 turns you should have in helical geometry. The number of turns can be increased or decreased based on your requirement. But if your first requirement is circular polarization, that your antenna should give you circular polarization, then for that you should have at least 3 turns in helix. And What could be the circumference? The circumference value should lie between this range. So your circumference should be greater than 3 lambda by 4 and less than 4 lambda by 3. So roughly you should have C that is nearly equal to lambda. If you take C equal to nearly equal to lambda, then your antenna can give you circularly polarized wave. Okay. Now, in using this equation, you can even find out the minimum and maximum bandwidth of antenna for given value of C. Okay, so that also you can find out. This is the example, but you try to find out fractional bandwidth later on. Fractional bandwidth, I just give you one example of that. Fractional bandwidth, sorry, not bandwidth. Fractional bandwidth always measured in terms of percentage, and that is FH, that is the higher cutoff frequency, minus FL divided by FC multiply by percentage. So this is your fractional bandwidth. Here I need to write bandwidth. This is the equation for that. Fractional bandwidth given in terms of percentage always. That you need to keep in mind. Okay. The input impedance of the helical antenna is primary real. Okay, real impedance it will offer and can be approximated by the value, that is Z in is equal to 140 C by lambda. Okay, but this is even it is written as Z in, but normally this offers real impedance. That means it offers only resistive part, not the reactive part. Okay, the pitch angle alpha, that range from 12 to 14 degree, usually taken as 13 degree. Okay, usually taken as 13 degree. So this is the pitch angle value that you should know. So basically for circular polarization you have three conditions. Which three conditions? Your number of turns, their n, that should be greater than equal to 3. Your alpha, that should be 13 degree, and your C, that is circumference of helix, that should be nearly equal to lambda, or that range, that is it should be greater than 3 lambda by 4 and less than 4 lambda by 3. So this is the real parameter consideration that you need to keep in mind while you are designing the helical antenna. Okay. These are the field equation. We are not interested much in the field equation. But here if you see theta pattern and phi pattern, like this is the field for theta, phi, and this is the field for theta, both are having the same equation. So the pattern for E theta plane and E phi plane would be nearly equal to same. So that you need to keep in mind. Okay. If you want to find out the axial ratio of a helical antenna, then axial ratio of helical antenna is given by 2n plus 1 upon 2n. So I think and I hope I have discussed axial ratio in first chapter. Yes or no? Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have I explained axial ratio? Yes or no?
Ma'am, A is to B.
Yes, right. So if you have a circularly polarized wave, something like this, right, and this is A, that is major axis, and this is B, that is minor axis, right? So what is axial ratio? Axial ratio is major axis upon minor axis. So that is axial ratio. But if you want to calculate based on the parameters that you are defining for the structure of helical antenna, then axial ratio is given as 2n plus 1 divided by 2n, where n is the total number of turns. Similarly, if you want to calculate the gain of a helical antenna, then G is equal to 6.2 C square n into S divided by lambda cube, or if you want to calculate in terms of a velocity of light, that means you are converting this lambda into c by f. If you replace lambda, that is c by f here, then this lambda you need to replace by with c by f, and that is what written here. Okay, so that is the equation of the gain. If you concentrate on the gain equation, you can observe that if you increase the circumference, if you increase the number of turns, and if you increase the spacing between the two helical antenna, then gain of the helical antenna can be increased. Okay, now there is an example that for number of turn equal to total number of turn, that is equal to 10, and has a circumference c, that is 0.5 meter, and pitch angle 13. Okay, that gives you, suppose s is 0.13, then what is the gain of the antenna? So this you need to calculate later on. I will create a assignment, and then you need to refer this presentation, you need to refer this gain, and then you try to just put the appropriate value and get the answer for gain of the helix or helical antenna. Okay, half power bandwidth of the helical antenna, that is nearly equal to 52 divided by c lambda under root of n into s lambda. Now here you may notice that here we have written in terms of a lambda, like there is a suffix lambda. You will see that c suffix lambda, s suffix lambda. The meaning is that value is given this, when we write this, then values are given in terms of lambda, 0.2 lambda, 0.5 lambda, point something lambda. That is what the meaning is. And when c alone is written, then it means that it is a absolute value, it is not defined in terms of lambda. In this case, when you have a suffix lambda, that means values are defined in terms of lambda, that you need to keep in mind. Okay, beamwidth between first nerve, that is defined as, that is nearly equal to 115 divided by c lambda under root of n into s lambda. Here there is a small n, but that is nothing but it is total number of turns in helix, c circumference, s spacing between the two turns. Okay, now helical antenna can be used in two ways. Okay, it can be used as a for transmitting the signal from one end to another end, and other is it is considered for radiation. Okay, uh, you may not have to study traveling wave tube amplifier in future, but in real time, in traveling wave tube amplifier, a helix is used in transmission mode. That means it will not radiate energy, it will confine the energy, it will not radiate the energy when the helical antenna that is used in transmission mode. Okay, so it will act as a transmission line or a waveguide. In when this antenna, this helix used as a in transmission mode, there are different kinds of transmission mode is possible, but we are not interested in that, because what we are interested in radiation modes of helix and helical antenna. Okay, so when you consider radiation mode of a helical antenna, it has two different types. One is axial mode and other is normal mode. Okay, so let's see that what is axial mode radiation looks like and what is normal mode radiation looks like. So here this is a structure of a helical antenna, you can see here. Then radiation occurs normal to the axis of the, this is axis of the helix. So radiation occurs in perpendicular to the, radiation occurs perpendicular to the axis of the helix. Here also you can see that radiation occurs that is normal to the axis of the helix. So that is what the helical that is what the normal mode of the helix. If you consider axial mode, then this, if this is the helical axis, so maximum radiation occurs in the direction of the axis of the helix. So this is called axial mode. This is very important for you to know. Okay, so this can be asked in the examination, that what is the normal mode of the helix, what is the axial mode of helix. So you should know this. Okay, so this is what about normal mode and axial mode. Okay, now onward, see, up to this slide it is from book and antennatheory.com. Okay, so now what I am explaining next, that is just for your information. Wherever needed, I will tell you that you need to refer this slide for examination. Okay, otherwise next slide that I am explaining, that is just for if you want to make any project in helix, then for that purpose I have kept the next slides after 14 number. Okay, but I will tell you, or I will also tell you that you have to refer this example, because this can be asked in the examination like that. Okay, so next what we are going to study from for 15 number slide onwards, that is for information sake only. Okay, this is okay, you can consider this also. Okay, modes in helix, we have discussed about normal mode and axial mode. For axial mode, your circumference should be nearly equal to lambda. For circumference that is very less than lambda, then it works in normal mode. But if you consider the circumference of the helix, that is in terms of lambda, that means 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 5 lambda, then radiation occurs in conical shape. So this is your helical antenna axis. Then in this it at nearly equal to 45 degree or some degree, you have some radiation, but not exactly in the direction of the axis. So this is called conical mode of helix. Now again, depending on your requirement, you may choose any of this. Okay, but mostly you can have good gain in this for this. Okay, because it for this you can see the directivity is much larger. But again, this is not a thumb rule. You can use helical antenna for different application, then you can use different modes of a radiation of a helical antenna. Okay, this is what you can say, it is a design chart. Okay, where all the values of C, you can see here, this is the pitch angle, this axis that is indicating pitch angle, this indicates C by lambda values, right, and this indicates S by lambda value. Now this shaded region, this region you can see, this region, that is a normal mode, monofilar. Monofilar means only one wire is used in order to form the helix, that is known as a monofilar. So here this is normal mode, means if you choose the dimension of C by lambda and S by lambda, and for the angle that is from 0 to, say for example this is 15, so it is 7.5, you can say. So for this, if you choose the angle from 0 to 7.5 degree, if you choose C by lambda, that is from 0 to 0.4, and S by lambda again, that is 0.4, then your antenna that can work in normal mode. Okay, for axial mode, this shaded region, with that you need to choose the value. Okay, so this is how you have, this is also axial mode, this is also axial mode, this is also axial mode. So you need to choose appropriate value according to that. Okay, so that is what the design chart again. Okay, now if you select the axial mode helical antenna, then what could be the different types of ground plane that you can use? So here this slide indicate that. Here you can see in the first figure, if you consider a simple circular or square shaped flat ground plane, then what should be the radius, what should be the diameter? This. So that should be 3 lambda by 4. Even if you use square, then the length and width should be 3 lambda by 4. That is when you use a flat ground plane. Now you can have cupped ground plane also. That means you have a cup shape of a ground plane. That is one. This is one. So here what you need to do, in this only you need to add the side walls. So that is cup shape. And this is what? This is a deep conical ground plane. That means you this is a cup, but you make a cone type of that, cone type of structure, and deep conical means your helical antenna is inside the ground plane. Okay, so that is what the different kind of ground plane. This is not limited to this. You can choose and you can make the ground plane according to your choice, according to the grain you require, according to area you want to cover, right? Depending on that, you can choose the ground plane. But this is the proposed structure that you can have. You can check, but you can make the modification according to your application. Okay, so this is showing for showing the effect of the conductor size of the helical antenna. So here you can see that this is a all of them are monofiller. Monofiller means single wire. So here you can see that the wire radius is small. Here is little bit larger, and this is a thick wire. So what are the, you see, I have taken this slide from Professor Girish Kumar notebook. Okay, and what he has done is that he has taken three different wire diameter, that is 0.055 lambda, 0.017 lambda and 0.0042 lambda at the frequency of 400 megahertz. And then he has checked the effect, which I have not presented here, but what he has suggested that if you increase the conductor diameter on helical antenna, its performance change, but not that much, only minor changes. So you can observe minor changes in the performance parameter of helical antenna if you change the diameter radius. So wire diameter does not play that much important role in performance. Okay, performance changes doesn't, it doesn't mean that it is not changing, but it change only, the changes are minor. Helical antenna support system, that what kind of, see, you if you choose a soft wire, then it cannot stand alone, so you need to support that wire, and for that there are three support system that is shown here. In this support system you can see that there is something which is kept in the direction of the helix, so you will, so that helix has, the wire has some support, and that can be seen in this figure. In this figure you can see that there is a, this structure is this. Here you have one rod which is kept in the direction of the axis of the helix, and on which your this total helical wire that is supported. Here there are four different support or three different supports that you can see at the edges of the helical structure, which will support the structure, which will support the wire, helical wire. And this is the figure. Here we do not have four edge support, but we have three. One is this, other is this, and third is this. Okay, it is not necessary that you should have only this support. You can have, it depends on your design, depends on material of the wire or conductor that you are using, it depends on that. It can be standalone also. Okay, and okay, in this case there is a dielectric material or dielectric rod which is kept, on which you can have turns on that particular dielectric material, and that is what this support system is. And the figure is this. You can see that there is some plastic kind of cylinder is that, on which your helical strip that is kept. So this is one of the support system for helical antenna. Okay, we know that we already have discussed this, that for axial mode helic input impedance is real. In earlier case we have written is as Z, but we know that it is real. It is 140 into C lambda, or C lambda means C by lambda. That is what you can say. For peripheral or circumference field that we have seen here, for peripheral and circumference, like this field or this field, the impedance that is changing, and that impedance is 150 divided by under root of C lambda. Okay, what are the restrictions that you need to keep in mind for having this? That C lambda or the circumference in terms of lambda, that must be between 0.8 to 1.2, n should be greater than 4, and alpha should be greater than 12 and less than 13. Okay, as you can see that Here the input impedance is depending on circumference and it also depend on the frequency, because here we have lambda. Lambda is equal to what? C by F. So if I will write this, replace, then it is C by F. So as the frequency vary, the input impedance varies. So for that, this kind of a tapering, see, this is what? This is where you connect your coaxial cable, and this is where your helical antenna that takes turns. So this portion is kept tapered. Tapered in means that its width is slowly increasing. Its width is slowly increasing, something like this. And input impedance, normally for microstrip structure, the impedance depends on the width of the line. So if the width of the line is continuously changing, the impedance is continuously changing. Ultimately what you require is that this is a 50 ohm, and according to the radiation resistance of the helical antenna, you should have some impedance at here. So this tapering is used in order to match the input impedance. That you need to keep in mind. Right now you may not be aware of this thing, but it's okay, doesn't matter. Okay, what should be the height of this input impedance? This height, that is given by this equation. Okay, so it's okay, just this is just for information sake. Okay, radiation pattern of a axial mode helical antenna for different value of circumference. Okay, here you can see the circumference is different. Here also you can see the circumference is different, right? So for different circumference, the radiation patterns are shown, where n is 6 and alpha is 14. Okay, so here if you see, if you observe what they have indicated, that the radiation pattern, that circular polarization that you can get for the circumference value, that is from 0.73 to 1.22. Okay, so for this, that means if we consider radiation pattern 0.73, that means this to up to this. So for this value, these are the radiation pattern where you can have circular polarization. For other mode, for this mode and this mode, this is going nearly normal mode, and this is going for conical mode pattern. So this is axial mode pattern, as well as for the circumference value of this, you can have a circular polarization. Okay, the next is the effect of the number of turns, that is n. So here you can see that these are the 10 number, 8, 6, 4 and 2. So clearly the radiation pattern, that is like having much directivity for the greater number of turns, that can be easily observed. Here you can see the beam is quite broad. Now here for this case it is somewhat narrow, and here narrowest, right? So that is the effect on the turns. If you increase the number of turns, the gain and directivity of the antenna, that is increased. This is the equation we already have seen. Okay, you need to keep this thing in mind, this equation. Directivity of the helical antenna, that is given by 32,400 divided by half power beamwidth square. So if you want to calculate directivity, you need to calculate half power beamwidth, or half power beamwidth equation that you can directly put here, and you can, if we try to find out that, then we can easily find out by given for given circumference, number of turns and s. Or if this is not given and only half power beamwidth is given to you, then you can directly find out directivity, that is 32,400 divided by half power beamwidth square. Okay, if you consider gain equation is equal to G into D, but G is equal to K into D. You can sometimes somewhere K is replaced by this N, that is sorry, eta, and its value is 60% for axial mode helical antenna. That you need to keep in mind. So sometime in the example, it may not be given that what is the efficiency of radiation efficiency of a helical antenna, then you need to keep in mind that for that case you need to take the radiation efficiency of helical antenna 60%. So value you need to take 0.6. This is the example. This kind of example is can be asked in the internal examination as well as in the uh, external examination as well. Here what you need to find out is that you need to design axial mode helical antenna for desired directivity of 24 dB. Okay, આટલું જ આપેલું હશે. Only this much information that is given will be given. Then you need to choose appropriate C. C you can choose from 3 lambda by 4 to 4 lambda by 3. In between any value you can choose. Alpha that you can choose from 12 to 14 degree, anything. That is 12.7 also you can consider, 13.5 also you can consider, doesn't matter. Okay. And then you need to calculate S lambda, that we already know, we are aware of the relationship. So you can easily calculate S lambda according to, you can now directivity is given. This value is in dB. So you need to convert this, in anti-log. And if you convert that into anti-log, then you can find the value that is 251. That you need to keep in this equation. Okay. And then you can find the number of turns. So you can see that if you require 24 dB of directivity, you require the N, that is total number of turns, that is equal to 80. This example will be asked in the first internal examination. This kind of, not seeing this kind of. Okay. For now, let us discuss in brief about normal mode helical antenna. So when you consider normal mode of a helical antenna, then what should be the wire length? Wire length should be nearly equal to lambda by 4, but in reality it would be somewhat greater than lambda by 4. If you consider radiation resistance, then radiation resistance that would be 0.6 ohm. Okay. And this is the axial ratio value, but it is given for this design. So it is just an example. It is just an example. So we are not much bothered about design of normal mode helical antenna. But if you use that, then what would happen? What are the effects that we can see in this? See, this is one of the normal mode helical antenna design. Okay, for a small circular ground plane, resonating frequency is 1.8, and then depending on that they have choose the number of turns, that is 7, angle 14.6, length of the wire 0.75 lambda, and for that they have discussed about the effects of the ground plane size. So here what you need to observe, like you may not be aware of this S11 parameter, that's fine. But just like in resonance characteristic, if you have a resonator, what you observe is a peak. This is resonating frequency. So here also you need to observe the maximum peak that you have. So this is called resonating frequency of for this value of this. So it is somewhat about 1.78. So you can say that 1.78 is the resonating frequency for this dotted graph, for blue one. Okay, that what we need to observe here, right? So here for this slide, if for effect of ground plane that varies from lambda by 30 to lambda by 20. So what it says that resonance frequency decreases and input impedance curve that shift upwards. Here this input impedance curve, this is input impedance curve. So here let's see that whatever written here, how that we need to observe. So this is the lambda by 30 graph. So you can see that here at this point the resonating frequency is 1.8. And if you consider the green graph, that is green dotted graph, that is lambda by 20, then if you see the maximum peak value, then this is somewhat about 1.74. So we can say that as the as the radius increases, then resonance frequency decreases. Here you can see that simply that these are the curves for input impedance. It is shifting upwards in this for increasing value of the radius of the ground plane. Okay. Similarly, here also, if you see that the effect of radius of the wire, if you see here, this lambda by 80 and this is lambda by 120. So obviously, when radius of the wire decreases, then the resonance frequency that is also decreases. Okay. तो आपके वायर की रेडियस डिक्रीज हो रही है तो आपकी रेजोनेंस भी डिक्रीज हो रही है and its inductance value varies. You may not understand that, but it's okay. But you can see that the graphs are shifted downwards as compared to this. It is shifting downwards. So that is what the effect of wire. Effect of wire on bandwidth. So if you change the radius of the wire, the bandwidth also increases. If you increase the radius, then the bandwidth also increases. This is what I am discussing about for the normal mode of the helix. In the case of a axial mode of a helix, if you increase the wire radius or decrease, it will not have major changes. But here you have. Here you can see the resonance that is shifting from say for example 1.7 to here 1.9 gigahertz. Giga means 10 raised to 9. So there is a great change that you can observe if you change the radius of the wire when helical antenna works in normal mode. Okay. So these are the things that you can consider as a group, as a project, and you can make a project. We have not even right now thought of giving you project, but if you decide that you need to submit the project as a part of your term work, then you must go for this slide. Okay, I think this is the end of the presentation. This is various pattern, but it's okay, no need to. This is just, you just have a look at it for some time afterwards. Okay, this all we have already discussed, this equations. Okay, and this is the end of a helical antenna chapter. This is the end of the helical antenna chapter. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Is there any doubt? Anyone? Are you there all? Hello? सब चले गए क्या? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
No doubts, ma'am.
Thank you for giving me reply. Or I thought that I made this lecture so boring that you left the meeting or gone somewhere. Okay, fine. So